A new book has some advice on how to make your everyday life a little easier through better negotiating. From getting a raise to getting your kids to load the dishwasher, Black Swan negotiation trainer Jonathan Smith says it's all in how you say it. He calls his new book, titled Fight Less, Win More, a manual for getting what you want out of every interaction. And Jonathan is here with some tips on that. Jonathan, thanks so much for coming in. I think we're all perking up to hear this interview. So you say most people imagine negotiations as you're in a boardroom or you're in a hostage crisis. It's very high stakes, but you say any interaction where you want something or someone else wants something is a negotiation. So how do you think we need to reframe how we even go into these conversations?
Well, the way to reframe it is to think about the other person. So it's not about you, it's about them. So if they feel heard, they're more likely to make a deal with you. Interesting.
So, and you say a lot of this is based on emotion, that if someone feels understood, you are willing to, you're capable of getting farther with them. So how do you do that? Because that's easier for some than others.
Well, we have skills that we have in the book that teach you how to make the other person feel heard. So, for example, I will tell someone, it seems like you're nervous. And just by saying that, I have an intuition about how you're feeling, and then I express it, and people feel heard at that point.
What if, for those who have a hard time taking someone else's perspective, are there tips on how to develop that?
Well, the first thing is you have to really listen. So it all comes down to listening, and people are just waiting to feel heard. So if you can just try to make it about them and not about you, you're more likely to do a better negotiation.
What if you're going into the room with an imbalance of power? If one person is a boss, the other person's the employee, or you have a parent and a child?
It's still the same. It's all about, I know this is going to be a difficult conversation. We would start that if I were the boss and say, you know, we're going to have a challenging conversation because such and such happened. It's about observing and actually acknowledging the other person's feelings.
And what if you're the person on the lower end of the power dynamic?
On the lower end of the power dynamic, I would say something like, I'm sure you've had a lot of these conversations this week. You know, it's raise time or it's review time. The idea would be acknowledge where that person's coming from, the fact that they're busy, the fact that they have a lot going on, and you'll be the only one who says that.
And you say there are 5 levels of listening. Can you walk us through those?
Sure. The first level of listening is listening for the gist. It's like you're on your phone and going, no one feels heard. The second is called listening to hijack. That's the idea. It's like, I raise my hand before you even stop talking. And you try to take the conversation in another direction. We try to get you to listening for logic. Just logically, why is that person feeling the way they're feeling or saying what they're saying? So that's where we try to stay. And then listening for logic and emotion, that's what's their emotional state, plus logically what are they thinking, and then listening for their point of view. That's the highest level of listening, and it's hard to stay there.
What if you're worried that you're not going to remember the thing you want to say by the time the person finishes?
Yeah, the reality is it's just a volley. It's not about saying the perfect thing. It's about saying what you're thinking at the time, because your brain is, your subconscious is far more strong than your conscious.
And what are some everyday interactions you think people might not realize are negotiations?
I just had one in the lobby downstairs with the security guard. And I start with, you look important, because he's like, why are you waiting down here? Are you waiting to get upstairs? As soon as I said, you look important, he stands up and goes, yeah, I feel important. And he treats me really well.
Are there any other sort of things you think show up in people's everyday lives routinely that they may not realize is a negotiation?
Yeah, routinely, you could be on the phone with the cable operator and go, it seems like you're really busy. Like, just acknowledging the customer service representative on the other side, you end up getting better service.
And then what about closing the loop on that? How do you follow that strong open to the end?
You just listen to them and continue to be nice, because we don't want to upset someone who could hurt us by doing nothing. So by being kind and having them feel heard and acknowledging them, the last impression is the lasting impression. You want to make them feel good.
So how do you do that without not risking being a pushover?
It's not about being a pushover. It's just about literally being present and trying to understand their point of view. So in the case of, the customer service representative. It's literally no one else has acknowledged the fact that they're on the line every 30 seconds and people screaming at them. And what you've done is now they'll give you the upgrade.
All right, we're going to try it. Black Swan negotiator, trainer, author Jonathan Smith, we appreciate you coming in. Thank you.
Thanks
the
for
book
having
is
me.
called Fight Less, Win More, and it's out now wherever books are sold.